What if I told you that a folding technique invented in the 1970s by a Japanese astrophysicist is now being used in space exploration, medical devices, and could one day save lives during natural disasters? And what if I told you that one of the most important recent discoveries about this fold was made by a 14-year-old in a New York City apartment using exercise weights and paper? This is not fiction. This is origami, and it is more scientifically powerful than most people realize. Before we go further, if you enjoy science content that connects everyday things to real cutting-edge research, subscribe right now and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Now let's get into it. Most people think of origami as a hobby, a way to fold paper cranes or decorative boxes. But researchers, engineers, and scientists have spent decades studying origami not for its aesthetics, but for its structural and mechanical properties. The core insight is this: the way paper folds determines how force, weight, and pressure are distributed across a structure. And when you optimize those folds, you can create objects that are extraordinarily strong, extraordinarily compact, or both at the same time. This is why origami principles are now being applied in fields as diverse as aerospace engineering, surgical robotics, architecture, and disaster relief. At the center of much of this research is one fold in particular, the Miura Ori. It was invented in the 1970s by Koryo Miura, a Japanese astrophysicist working on the challenge of deploying large structures in space. The problem was simple. How do you fit something enormous into a rocket and then unfold it perfectly once it reaches orbit? The Miura Ori solved that problem elegantly. It is a tessellation, a repeating geometric pattern of parallelograms arranged in a specific configuration. What makes it remarkable is that the entire structure folds and unfolds in a single smooth motion, collapsing to an extremely compact size and expanding fully without any individual piece needing to be moved separately. This property, rigid foldability with a single degree of freedom, makes the Miura Ori what engineers call an efficient, deployable structure. It has already been used to fold a solar array that was launched into space. Researchers are also exploring its use in medical stents that can be inserted into the body in a compressed state and expanded precisely at the target location. Now, here is where the story gets particularly interesting from a scientific standpoint. While engineers have long understood the deployability of Miura Ori, less systematic research had been done on optimizing its strength-to-weight ratio, meaning how strong can these structures be relative to how little they weigh. This question was taken on as a rigorous science experiment, resulting in one of the most thorough independent studies of Miura Ori mechanical performance conducted outside a university lab. The methodology was precise. 18 different folding patterns were designed, each varying the height, width, and angle of the parallelograms in the tessellation. Each pattern was tested across 3 different paper weights. Each variation was tested twice for reliability. The total? 108 individual Miura Ori structures folded and mechanically tested over 250 hours. The metric was not just maximum load capacity, but how many times its own weight each structure could support. This distinction matters enormously in engineering, where the goal is often to minimize material while maximizing performance. The results were striking. The Miura Ori pattern with the smallest, least acutely angled panels, constructed from the lightest paper, produced the greatest strength-to-weight ratio. The strongest single pattern held nearly 200 pounds of load. Another lighter configuration supported more than 10,000 times its own weight. Structural analysis revealed why. The higher-performing patterns created truss-like geometries that distributed applied pressure evenly across the surface, rather than concentrating stress at any single point. The same principle used in bridge and roof engineering. This finding has direct implications for real-world applications. Emergency deployable shelters need to be lightweight enough to transport quickly to disaster zones, but structurally strong enough to protect occupants. A Miura Ori-based panel optimized for strength-to-weight ratio could address both requirements simultaneously. This work earned the top prize at a national STEM competition, a recognition that independent, rigorous, methodical research produces real scientific value, regardless of the age or institutional affiliation of the researcher. The Miura Ori is one example of a much broader field called computational origami and structural folding, which sits at the intersection of mathematics, material science, and mechanical engineering. Researchers around the world are now using origami principles to design foldable medical implants and drug delivery systems, deployable solar panels and antenna arrays for satellites, lightweight structural components for aerospace, self-assembling robots and soft robotics, and compact architectural structures for disaster relief. The underlying mathematics of how paper folds, crease patterns, fold angles, rigid foldability is now a serious area of academic study. MIT, NASA, and research institutions globally have dedicated programs to it. What makes origami so scientifically interesting is that it offers a way to encode complex three-dimensional structures into flat, two-dimensional materials. That means you can manufacture something flat, ship it flat, and deploy it into its functional three-dimensional form only when needed. In engineering, that is an extremely valuable property. A simple piece of paper, folded correctly, can hold 10,000 times its own weight. It can unfold in space to power a satellite. It may one day shelter people displaced by natural disasters. The lesson from origami science is not that paper is special, it is that geometry is powerful. The way we arrange and fold materials, at any scale, determines what those materials can do. And that principle extends far beyond paper. It extends to how proteins fold in biology, how microchips are layered in electronics, and how structures are designed to survive extreme conditions. Origami is not just an art form, it is a design language, and scientists are only beginning to read it. If you found this video useful, give it a like. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Subscribe if you have not already, and drop a comment below. What application of origami science surprised you most? See you in the next one.